Hi everybody! 大家好 and welcome to Jade Palace Yamingo. My name is Yaya. An empress so powerful that she was her husband's one and only. So let's get started. This empress may have ruled over one of the shortest dynasties in Chinese history, but without her and her wit, the rise of the Tang dynasty probably would have never happened. Known for her wisdom and loyalty, she helped her husband ascend the throne. But what she's really known for was the fact that her husband vowed to never take on another wife, nor have any children with anyone else but her. That's unheard of.独孤伽罗was the first empress of the Sui dynasty. She was born around 554 CE to a Xinbei father and a Han Chinese mother, which means that she is also considered as Xinbei. DuGu was the seventh daughter of General DuGu Xin and Lady Cui. During his career, he was impressed with the son of his old friend, Yang Jian. He found the boy to be brave and intelligent. So he arranged for the 16-year-old boy to marry his 13-year-old daughter. Issues would arise when there was a big political struggle. DuGu's father was implicated in a plot to overthrow the regent, which resulted in her father's forced suicide when she was 14. Her mother would follow him into death soon after. DuGu's clan would rapidly decline at the loss of her father and were surpassed by political enemies. Her life wouldn't be easy for a long while. If you were worried about her marrying at such a young age, this is probably one case that you shouldn't have to. Even though she was only 13 and Yang Jian was only 16, he loved her very much. It wasn't a loveless political marriage. Even at such a young age, he loved her so much that he vowed he would never take on any other wives nor have children with anyone else but her. So her husband was Yang Jian. His father was the Duke of Sui, and he would inherit that title when his father died, and DuGu was given the title of Duchess. However, even with their status, they were demoted, constantly suppressed by their enemies and targeted. Even attempts on their lives were made. Thankfully, Yang Jian's brothers married noble women from powerful clans. Their power protected the couple and allowed them to survive this difficult time. These difficulties did help to bring the couple closer. They loved and supported each other, which grew their bond. All their time was spent with each other. The only time they parted was when Yang Jian was needed at work. DuGu would see him off and welcome him when he came home. She even assisted him with complex political problems should they arise. She was his foundation and support. Yang Jian made good on his promise to only have children with her. They ended up having 10 children, 5 daughters and 5 sons. Their eldest daughter's husband would ascend the throne. This did help Yang Jian obtain more power, but it was mostly due to his talent and ambition. What makes DuGu different? How does she stand out in history? Her role will become more important with her husband's ascension to emperor. In 580 CE, the Emperor Xuan suddenly died, who also happened to be their son-in-law as he was the husband to their eldest daughter. At his death, the throne was passed down to his 6-year-old son, who was born to another concubine and not their daughter. Yang Jian took this opportunity to seize power for his own as regent. DuGu was supportive of his action and wrote him a message. "This is like riding a wild beast. You will not be able to come off of it. You need to fight hard to stay on." DuGu knew that the acquisition of power wouldn't be easy, and a lot of people would be against them. Her words of wisdom reminded her husband of this. With her encouragement, he claimed himself as the new emperor and named his new empire Sui. He gained support from powerful officials who respected him as regent, though some powerful clans did refuse to follow him at the time. Thus, DuGu went from the Duchess of Sui to Empress DuGu of the Sui dynasty. This change in their lives didn't affect their relationship, however. Even as emperor, Yang Jian and DuGu shared quarters, which was unusual for this time period. They lived like a normal couple. She took care of him like a wife would, feeding, washing, and clothing him. She even accompanied him to the imperial court. She would wait near the meeting hall and meet with him after his duties were performed. They were always together. What was DuGu's personality like? Yes, she was the first empress of the Sui dynasty, but what made her stand out? She was studious and knowledgeable, so much that her husband would confer and ask for her opinions regarding important matters of the state. She even asked eunuchs to listen in on the meetings, and if she thought that her husband made the wrong decision, she would advise him to change. It got to the point where it was hard to tell who actually came up with the state policies during the initial years of the Sui dynasty. Even with her new status as empress, she remained frugal, choosing to live as she did when she was a commoner. There are two famous instances of her frugality. Once, the emperor needed ground pepper for medication, a very expensive spice worth its weight in gold, and was usually used by women for cosmetics. He went to DuGu to acquire some from her, only to find out that she didn't use it because it was too expensive. Another instance, the emperor wanted to reward the wife of one of his officials with a gold-decorated dress. He went to DuGu to ask for one of hers, but again, she didn't even own one to give. DuGu favored members of the court that were loving to their wives and were unbiased towards family members who committed crimes. She saved innocent lives from her husband's outrage and suspicion in later years. She barely abused her power, nor crossed lines. She had very distinct views throughout her lifetime. She advocated for monogamy, opposing polygamy that was a normality of the time. DuGu would become angry at officials and even her own son, the crown prince, for taking on too many concubines, neglecting their wives. She lost respect for people who did not respect or look down on women. There was an interesting policy prior to her rule where official marriages had to have the approval of the empress. DuGu declined doing this, stating that it was inappropriate for her to overly interfere with political matters. She was also an influential and key figure in bringing and spreading Buddhism to China during the Sui and Tang dynasties. DuGu's stance on monogamy does mean that she's very much portrayed as being very jealous throughout history, especially on one occasion of her husband's mistake. Yang Jian just happened to come across the beautiful granddaughter of his late enemy. She had been forced into slave labor after the death of her grandfather. He was attracted to her enough to have sexual relations with her. When DuGu found out she had the girl killed, Yang Jian was livid and stormed out of the palace on horseback, refusing to return. His advisors tracked him down and urged him to return, saying that he can't abandon the empire because of one woman. When he returned, DuGu was waiting for him. She wept and begged for his forgiveness, which he did, and their differences were forgotten. Their relationship continued as it was prior to his mistake. Empress DuGu would pass away in the fall of 602 CE. Her husband was heartbroken. She was given the title Wen Xian Huanghou, meaning virtuous and intelligent. And a petition was made to show that she was, in fact, a bodhisattva reincarnated. I have a Teespring if you'd like to support the channel. I have a lot of super cute designs that I'm really proud of, so please check it out if you can. Link is in the description below. So what do you guys think? What do you think of the Sui dynasty empress? Leave a comment down below because I would like to know. You can also let me know what topics you'd like to see me cover in the future. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to Jade Palace Yamingong. I would very much appreciate it. And until next time, 再见了，拜拜。